welcome back to Open, everyone. So today is Día de Muertos, and that is Day of the Dead. It's a Mexican holiday that reunites families and their loved ones who have passed away. And the celebration includes offerings along with food and drinks for people to enjoy, and it holds a cultural significance within the Mexican community. And it's a day where mourning is exchanged for happiness. And joining us today is a visual artist who creates installations for Día de Muertos, and now he's here to share more about the holiday. Please welcome Alo Gorozpe. Hello, Alo.
Hi, Rhina. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Desde Mexico.
Yes.
Hailing all the way from Mexico, he's here, and he created an altar here on our set. But I gave everybody a little insight about the holiday. If you could share more.
Well, it's a very rich and complex celebration, but basically it's a day in which we take time to gather around the people that have died and celebrate their spirits and try to invoke them with certain elements that they enjoyed in their life. No, so we put their food, their everything they like, hoping that they come, because from November 1st to the 2nd, there's a gap that opens between the life of the dead and the people that are alive.
So, with this belief, are you saying that, first of all, let's talk about its background and who came up with this concept and how it's become a part of your custom, and what is it that really, I guess, validates that gate has been opened, right? Because it's a sense of opening a gate for those who have transitioned into being at the table from a spiritual realm.
Yeah, well, it's, as history and life in general, it's a mix of cultures that have been adding to the tradition. But if you trace it back, it goes to indigenous cultures in Mexico, such as Oaxaca. And all the indigenous cultures in Mexico celebrate it in a way. And wherever you're in Mexico, it's a little bit different, but the same belief is there that it's a way to connect with the spirits of the dead.
So in this particular design, let's go over some of the elements you've presented here today. I mean, aside from it being visually stimulating, there's significance in certain food items and drink items based on who is the person you brought with you today?
Yeah, so basically you choose who you want to do the altar to. In this case, we're celebrating a Mexican artist and activist called Francisco Toledo, who's a really important artist that passed away this year. Mm-hmm. So you put a photo of the person. You put like...
Can I see this photo?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm always like, when you create altars, it's always like, oh, you don't want to touch it, you want to honor it. So that is the artist.
Yeah,
what is his name again?
Francisco Toledo.
Francisco
Toledo.
So let's
say he was a multimedia artist, but he was mostly a painter. So we have this element, which is a brush.
Right.
And food, like we have pan de muerto, which is something that it's baked for the Day of the Dead, fruit, coffee, a skull, really colorful skull.
Right.
Cempasúchil flower. That's our orange is a really important color. It's represents light.
Okay, so the marigold flowers,
Yeah.
for some reason, are symbolism of the Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Why is the marigold flower the one?
Because it resonates light, no, and it's the one that rises and flowers during this season. We have a tamal over there. So there's elements that call about the earth, the food. We have water. We have the wind is present through the papel picado.
The wind is present through this.
Because normally you see this like an indoor altar, but people go to the cemeteries and build altars in the people's tombs, but also people do them in their houses. So it's an indoor-outdoor celebration. So basically, you build it together with your family and friends, and then in the night between the 1st and the 2nd, you have a party with people that have passed away.
That's beautiful. And so, what are some of the food items that are part of the custom? Because I know you mentioned that certain items were chosen because he's a painter. So let's say, as a Puerto Rican, can we put an empanada instead of
you
a
can
tamale?
Put whatever you want. I think the most important elements are the flowers and the candle over here.
Right.
And kind of the skull, but the rest is just basically like putting whatever your passed away person,
Right.
your
The
family
person who
member,
transitioned, right?
you want him to enjoy, want her to enjoy that. So it's basically trying to replicate something that they would like, so they come and visit you.
Okay, so this takes place on November 1st, right?
Yes.
So it's a day of celebration, right?
Yeah.
So that's obviously today. Today is November 1st, and I know that you have events that are taking place today and tomorrow, November 2nd, right? So let's talk about the 2-day aspect of it.
Yes. So basically, during today, people spend their times building their spaces, their sacred spaces. People come together. People bring flowers. Everybody brings different elements, and today you spend the whole day putting it together, and then at night you just light the altar, and it comes to life, and you have like a midnight of having time with people have that passed
So
away.
it's like a midnight from November 1st to November 2nd
Yes.
of activating it, we'll
Exactly.
say, right?
Yeah.
And then I know for this particular function that you're, I don't know if you're spearheading it, but I do know that you're initiating the installations, but there's also a procession that's going to be taking place.
Yes.
Which, what's that about? Like, is everybody coming and walking with a candle, like with their pictures?
Yes.
How's that going to take place?
So there's a big important artistic and community in East Harlem. Mainly right now for this project, it's a Mexican community that we're putting a procession together. That would be like walking from 104th Street, the Church of the Living Hope, towards Art Space. So it's the second year that we do it because it's a tradition that has been growing a lot here in New York.
Right.
So
Especially since the movie Coco,
Yeah.
which has been a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just admirable. It's admirable the way you honor like your culture, your
Yeah.
particular culture, because that's you're the ones who have sustained the practice and the ritual of honoring those who have
Yeah.
transitioned on.
Yeah, and we want to share it with the world. And so there's going to be a procession tomorrow at 5 p.m., which we're going to take flowers, candles from an altar in 104th Street to a big altar in Art Space.
So you're gonna actually walk the altar
Yeah.
from one space to the other, and everybody's gonna be walking with that altar with the candles.
Yes.
That's lovely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be exciting. Do people have to dress a certain way?
No, however they want. We suggest like a kind of a whatever grief color because the celebration. It's about grief and happiness. That day and light.
Right. Balance.
Day and night and balance about how we need to celebrate our life because death is waiting for us, and then people that have died that they're always present with us. So it's like a really balanced celebration. So I would recommend wearing black just to contrast the colorful of the altars.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for sharing it here with our viewers.
Thank you.
And you guys, you're more than welcome to participate in the event. It's called Remembering Our Loved Ones, and that's in East Harlem. That's taking place. It's a 2-day celebration, and that's happening November 1st and November 2nd between 10 and 9 p.m. But the procession itself is taking place on Saturday, November 2nd, and that's beginning at 5 p.m. It's starting at Church of Living Hope, which is located on 61 East 104th Street, and then it's going to end at El Barrio's Art Space, which is located at 215 East 99th Street. And for more, you can visit Alo's website by going to alonsogorozpe.com.